Have you ever wondered whether growing more spiritually can lead to a more enriching, fulfilling life? Stay tuned for this episode of Spirit Lift. Before we get started, please ensure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below so you'll be notified on all episodes that come out on Spirit Lift, and it greatly helps to expand our message. Thank you very much. On this episode of Spirit Lift, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kristina, who's originally from Germany but is now living in Egypt. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the importance and just self-discovery and journey of what it means to have an enriching life and finding your true self in your own spiritual practice. Kristina, it's a pleasure to have you on this episode of Spirit Lift.
It's a pleasure for me too.
Thank you so much. And Kristina, we're filming this, and it's being recorded and being shared on our podcast platforms as well as on our channel on YouTube. We're closing out the last week of 2020, and it's been, for me personally, just a time to reflect, a time to know what it means to have perspective in life from a year, especially that has been so different, so challenging in many ways, so enriching in other ways. But there has never been such a stark contrast of this year compared to other years. And I know I'm definitely not the only one. It feels like that. Many people, virtually everyone, has their own story about what this year has meant to them. And there's so many ups and downs that come with that. And as this journey of being a part of developing Spirit Lift this year, for me, has just been truly rewarding and getting to know people from different backgrounds and perspectives, such as yourself. And I think not just going into a new year like 2021, but I think throughout all of our life, our own journey of what it means to truly feel authentic and in a very, when I say spiritual, that means something unique and something different to everybody. And I think it all revolves around a certain essence of self-love and love for others and love for life. For me, that's what it is. And that can come through different methods, modalities, practices. But the more I think and feel about it, for me personally, there's some center energy of love that I think that really gives all this that we do and we go through a certain sense of meaning, right? And this year has been really difficult for people in many ways. People are feeling unbinded. People are feeling still very anxious, depressed. They don't know where things are going to go. And I think having some kind of true understanding, reflection, and internal way of discovering themselves and really their own sense of spirituality can be really important, not just for this next year, but for their whole life. So I would love to have you, Kristina, kind of explain your story a little bit as we start and your journey, and maybe you can just give our viewers and our listeners on our podcast platforms a little bit of context of who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your story.
Yes, thank you. So, yes, you introduced me already. I'm Kristina from Germany. And yeah, my journey it came in a very, very natural way. Like I didn't never went for coaching or something. I just, yeah, it actually came from a lot of suffering. I just share this openly. I come from a background from a family system very much aggressive and very much violent and I experienced several trauma in my childhood, and most of my life I was running away from it. I was really running away from it. It was painful inside me, but still, as most of our humanity, we don't know. We learn so many things, but we don't know how to deal with ourselves, how to deal with this emotion. And I was overwhelmed by my own emotion inside, and I was just trying to keep the facades on the outside. Like, okay, I have to keep appearances, and I thought for a while, yes, this will work, no problem. I will find a way. But I after a while, I really felt how I become more and more. I just wanted to isolate myself from the world. I felt really depressed. Like, I went also through this. If you're not connected inside, I choose a total different way for myself. Like what I want to study, I didn't know who I am. I didn't know what I want. So of course I find a way. Studying for myself is not a subject. Is not for me. And this also, it just, in addition, it created more like absolutely senselessness for me in my life. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I was 22 and I felt like this is a nightmare. I don't feel anything, any connection to myself and inner. I'm coming from a family of absolutely non-believers, but through this pain I feel, it really forced me on my knees. It forced me on my knees, and just it teach me this pain, teach me how to pray, how to create a connection with God. And I started to this inner journey through my own experience, and decided just on one point, okay, whatever will happen now, I took this courage just to, it can all go, take what it wants, but I want myself. We are not here in this world. We are not born to, there has to be a change. I was sure of it. There is a chance that I can just allow myself to be me. I don't need to pretend to be something. I can be myself. It's my birthright. And so I started this journey. And actually I started this journey through an outer journey. I really just took my backpack and I went for a travel, and this helped me so much, this outer journey, just having space for myself, getting to know myself much better. And through this, I discovered many parts of myself. I learned meditation, and meditation is for me a very important tool. Yes. All these last 3 years since I started this journey, and diving deeper within myself.
Kristina, so how long then has it been that you have been on this, let's call it like journey of self-discovery? How long has it been now? Are you saying like a couple of years?
Since 3 years. 3 years.
So there, when I hear, it sounds like you were growing up in this certain way of your life, in these certain circumstances, right? And parts of it weren't allowing you to feel like your true self, authentic, just really being who you think you really were. And then you made some very, I don't want to use the word dramatic, but you made a very big shift in your life, transformation, and you've completely journeyed out into this whole different way of life. So what was that? Did that, I have, thinking about that, it just seems so big to do that, and so brave and so courageous and so, I guess, now fulfilling as you've passed through all this time. But did that moment come like instantly with you? Did you feel like, was there a day that you woke up and it's like, today's the day things change? Or was it very slow, that realization? How would you describe that?
I remember there was really one day I just felt, I mean, it was a process up to this point where I really felt this decision so strong inside me. But the process before of just taking all this courage, it was really, it was a leap of faith for myself, but I knew I have to do it. So it was many struggle before of course, oh no, I have to, how can I just trust myself, or maybe I'm going mad, or what, all this mind question. But I had this pain, actually, I feel after all this time, it's my biggest blessing. It gave me no chance. It gave me, I couldn't couldn't continue to live like this, because it really forced me. This pain was emotionally, but it already, I feel it physically, and it forced me on my knees. So how can I continue to live like this if I cannot run away from myself or my life? Mm-hmm. So somehow this really, I call it my blessing. So, and then there was this one day, it was the turn of the year 2017 to 2018, and I had a deep conversation with the universe, and I decided in this night, really, I just, now whatever, just take what it wants, let it take whatever it wants, but I choose myself now. I choose myself, and yeah. So and in this night, it was really. In this night, as in the moment when I decided to choose myself, in front of me appeared the little me. The little me. I know it's for many people it's like really hard to, but it was for me. It was such a touching moment, and she was just standing in front of me, looking in my eyes, and said, "Very, his big eyes, thank you." The little me was actually, I was denying her. The little me, but she has to. I want her, and she is actually my. Yeah, she's making me do things. Sometimes I think I'm even surprised I can do this, but I do this because I want this little girl to shine. I know she deserves this, and she's how can I say, she makes me really move. She brings me all this faith. And in this night when I decided this, and she just appeared in front of me, I knew this is the right way. I knew it so much, because I never felt so much. It flows. I had a feeling it was a heart opening. It was a flow of love I never felt before. And this is why we are here. We are love. And this, as I don't close myself. If I close myself, I don't feel it. But in the moment I just open this door, it can flow naturally, the energy. And I felt this so much, and yeah, I'm grateful.
That's incredible, because that, you refer to that situation, you refer to that when you say little me, like, it's hard to label these things sometimes, because some people may say your soul, or may say that inner voice, or it does. I really, in the end, I don't think it matters how we label it in a way, but the point is, there is something that you encountered that gave you this deeper understanding of maybe unconditional life, love, and connection. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth and misinterpret it. The reason I'm saying that is because I personally, I think it was a couple of years ago, if I remember right, there was a day, just a really random day, when I was at a very still peace, having come out of like prayer meditation, and I felt just something come over me, like, and you can't even describe it. It's just, there's something that just, and it was instant. It was just like, and then I've never experienced that again. But it's not because it's almost like I wasn't looking for it, and then I experienced that, and it changed me. So I don't know if that's may of how you felt in that particular incident as well, like just something, a reassurance of something more profound than what we are. I was going to ask you, Kristina, what, it seems like you've been on your own personal journey, your own personal spiritual path these last years. You mentioned things like meditation and other things that helped you grow and just get more, deeper into your own spiritual path. What are these things that you've noticed as time goes on these last years that help you, connect with that inner self more, more profoundly, more deeply, more, amazingly, really, just to grow in the way you want to in your own spiritual way?
Yeah, so for me, it's really the main tool is for me really this meditation. Without it, I know it would not be the same. Just look, like, really, I'm doing meditation. I'm practicing it 3 years now, every day at least 1 hour. Since 3 years, every day at least 1 hour, even sometimes even more, and just to create this really deep inner connection to myself, really letting there be whatever there is, just accept it and watch, observe inside me. And it's like, we are always, as we start this inner journey, we are naturally guided. Our soul knows the path. Our soul knows how the way, how we can heal, what we can take at this very moment. And I can feel this in my own journey very much, that I always get only the amount I can take. And it's like shedding layer by layer from outside to the inside, more and more. Like, and the more every time I remove one layer, there's like came more power in. It's like, of course, we are. Yes, we can. Many people, we are just telling, we are saying, okay, but it was my own experience. This is what I want to say. I can feel this, that every time I remove this layer, a new insight, new wisdom came. This pain turned into some kind of wisdom. And yeah, even if I look back now, these last few days of this year, I'm also reflecting a lot. I'm using it a lot to reflect myself, especially this year, but also the journey since I started. And I'm looking back and I feel like this is magic. I know where I come from. I know how I was hiding myself, how I was fearful to show who I am. And now I'm different, but I feel I'm different, I'm unique. And I like who I am. And I don't want, even if not everyone understands it, now I can just stand up for myself, and I want to be myself. Yeah. And this is magic for me. Yeah.
I think what you're saying, something that you're saying right now, I think is truly something that everybody really needs to embrace. It's probably the most important thing anyone can embrace in their whole life, is what you just said, actually. You know, it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, because what I really like about your story and your journey, it's about you discovering you, and you discovering how special you are. And I truly think right now, in this time in our history of humanity, I this is my own opinion. This is not based on any scientific paper or anything, but in my own opinion, my own observation, I think most people don't know who they are. Not when I say no, I'm not saying from my brain no. I'm saying the way you describe no, meaning being in a silent self-knowingness within what's going on in here, which is really a part of everything, as you know, right?
Yes.
And I think that's really, like you said, you use the word magic. I really think that's where the magic truly is. And we can't love the world until we begin to love ourselves first. And that's not in a selfish way. That's in a true
this is just the
essence.
This is just the truth. Yeah. If you don't love yourself, how can you love the world? Not possible.
What, in your opinion, Kristina, from your own way of seeing things and of life right now, and from your journey, what is the biggest types of misconceptions people have of themselves when, just going through their lives as you see it? What do you think? What do you think people are really blinding themselves with to not find fulfillment in their life?
I think it's just, of course, this whenever we dive into ourselves, it brings up a lot. It brings up also, it not only the beautiful parts. The spiritual path is not only you're seeing the magic everywhere, but it's a lot about shadow work. It's a lot about emotion come up, and I think we are still so afraid to face it. But if you know that it actually happens for our good, it happens for our good. Once we face it, it is dissolved. It disappears. So what is better, to face it for maybe a time like a week, or a month, maybe takes a little more, or to run and to walk with this and have this insight for full life. So yes.
Do you feel, maybe it's too possibly early in your own path, but in general, just generally speaking, do you think now at this point of how far you've come up until now, do you fear like issues like death less than you may have before? Like knowing that maybe how precious this life is and how much you just like, I don't know. I think for me personally, it's just like knowing what you experience on your own spiritual path, and like it just seems like the endless love that seems to exist in this world, this universe, like there, it just seems like it can go on forever. So it makes, for me, just living that much more appreciative and fearing death less. Do you feel like that, or is that different to you?
Can you? I don't get the question.
The question, sorry. Like, do you? My question is directed. Do you fear death less as you grow through your spiritual journey?
Yes. Yes, I feel such an love, such an inner love for the whole, for the world, and I feel fearless. Like whatever I do, I feel I am held. I am held, and there's still so much more things to discover, so much deeper things to discover. But I know where I am now is where I'm supposed to be. And this makes me give so much peace. Like whatever will be right now, I did my best up to now, and I'm on my way.
Yeah, like and more like a journey in a way, no?
It's yes, exactly.
I mean, do you think with the way that we choose to live our life, I think that a lot of people, everything, it seems to come down to two main things in the end of the day, and everything falls underneath the other two things. It's love or fear. So like for fear, it seems like people are always trying to control their life, control expectations, have a lot of judgments, and these seem to be and look, everyone's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it for sure. I mean, and I think part of that makes you feel liberated and a little bit lighter is accepting and being aware, not trying to control it, but being aware that it is there, but then continue on other things that can really help you develop and grow, right? I mean, because I don't know. I just don't think that we can assume that there will always be the perfect day, the perfect moment. It's, we can do things to make sure that certain situations are better, our environment, and many other things. But I think, also part of it is knowing and observing that things are what they are. And the less we're trying to control and put judgment on them, our life can still flow and feel natural. Do you feel like that? Do we have a delay again?
There's like a low connection. I don't know. I'm so sorry for this now.
No, that's fine. I hear you okay. Do you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes a little like...
A little delay.
Yeah.
No problem. So we'll do a little pause again, and then I can re-ask you that question, and make it a little more concise. So we'll just pause.
I'm really sorry.
No problem. Okay, here we go. And Kristina, do you feel and believe that, a lot of what we experience in life can, generally fall under categories really of love or fear in a very general sense, I'm saying, right? And, sometimes I think people struggle with having too many expectations too. It's like, oh, maybe this, I want this thing to work out this way, or I want that thing to work out this way. And maybe it just doesn't. But I think do you see in your own way, in your own journey, that the more we let go, have less expectations, judgment, control of things become more natural and flow?
Oh yeah, definitely. The less I judge myself for whatever happens, and yeah, the more everything like becomes, yeah, more I feel this ease, this deep, this ease, and especially I've really decided for myself that whatever is going to happen, I love myself. This unconditional love, whatever the condition, I just don't want to judge myself. I love myself because we are all here for this experience of human life. Sure, why should we judge ourselves? And I don't want to do this to myself. And since I did this, fears really is so much, has just like almost disappeared. Yeah, because I know. Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. You can ask.
I was gonna say, how have you seen your relationships with people in general, like even your family or other friends or new friends? How have you seen, as you've gone down this, deeper spiritual path for yourself, like just how have you seen those interactions be different than they were a few years ago before all this?
They have changed. It has changed a lot since I changed inside. Things around me have changed so much. I was wondering when I was teenager. I was wondering if I can ever have I was always wishing this beautiful relationship with my family, like other people have, and I like, can I ever have this? But I was in my own struggle. I didn't allow myself to love myself, and if I don't love myself, I couldn't give this love. And since I just accept myself fully, I also accept others as they are. And it has changed in a beautiful way, especially the connection with my mom. It has now this really natural flow of love, and I worked a lot on forgiveness this last, especially in the first year of my inner journey. It was a lot about forgiveness. It was like one of the first layers I removed, like really this connection, to clean it with my mom. Yeah, and this really let this love flow more. And now it's even interesting that as I'm walking this path, and my family and friends, they see, wow, what happened to you? You are smiling and you are shining from inside. So they get inspired, and they feel like, maybe there's something. In the beginning, I was always this like, oh, you're like, this is a little weird what you are doing, and but as I see this works, it has become like an inspiration for them, and people ask me, how do you do this? Yeah. And even my family, and I'm
No, go ahead. Finish that thought, please. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, and through this, even my family, they realize parts of themselves, like, of course, what is inside me is also inside them, and brings them closer to their self and help them solve their own inner struggles. Yeah. I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see it.
You know, I find it really imperative, this conversation we're having right now, because I think it's this fear, you know? I mean, fear is the big wall that we disguise and mask for ourselves to really let our essence shine, you know? I mean, what you're describing, and with that particular situation, as, you know, how other family members could be and, you know, want to emulate or, you know, and feel inspired by you. I mean, everyone has that. I mean, we're all in the same kind of bodies with, you know, the same sort of features,
Exactly.
you know, and just, it's just like, if we get rid of the facade and let the natural state of what we are inside just flow, it just can be an incredibly beautiful, radiant thing. It seems like we create too many walls. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I'm, you know, definitely not like that. But I think at least if we're curious and we want to have that part of us come out, it can be an amazing, amazing, amazing thing, you know, absolutely. And Kristina, as we conclude our conversation, I just want to ask you, because I really find your story so inspiring. What would you say to people right now, like right now, today? Like, what can they do to just have the at least just the idea to start on a type of path, or obviously their own path, but a type of way to just connect with that true sense of who they are? What would you say to them and advise them to do?
I would say the most important thing is currently, I feel, really for our humanities to really start believing in ourselves. Because as we believe in ourselves, we also believe in this world. Because as I fulfill myself, I become more satisfied from inside, happy, and this light emanates into our world. So if I focus on myself, if I really believe in what I can do, this is, I think, what the main message right now and for 2021, that we find this belief within ourselves. You don't even need to believe in something on the outside, but just first of all, believe that you are here to do amazing. You can be amazing. Let's come out of this playing small. We are amazing. Each one of us is here with an amazing purpose. Unique purpose, and it's can only be fulfilled through you. Only through you. And if we believe in this inside of us, and if we open ourselves for this, we are led all the time. We are all the time guided, and the messages come through to us. And yes, it creates a more healthy world. If each of us it's like I always see this like a big puzzle. We are all like puzzle pieces. And if each of us just fulfills themselves, we don't need to fulfill anyone on the outside. We can't. Just focus on myself. I believe in myself. I believe in my own ability, in my own gift I received. I just focus on my puzzle piece. And if you see it as a bigger picture, it creates a beautiful new world, a new earth, new big puzzle that shines.
That's incredible. You know, it's so beautiful. I just encourage everyone, like Kristina's saying, go into the becoming of your own puzzle piece in this universe, in this life. Be that special piece that you know that you are, and just come out in your own unique way, your authentic way, in your beautiful way. And that's all that you need to do. You know, Kristina, where can more people find out about you? You know, find out about everything you do. Can you please share with our viewers and listeners your contact?
I'm sharing my story, my own story, and a lot of messages I receive. I'm channeling also in my Instagram page in Teeny and Light. Exactly. So people can find me and reach out to me if they like.
Excellent. I'll make sure to include all of Kristina's information in the video description, the notes, and on the podcast platforms for this episode. And Kristina, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on this episode of Spirit Lift.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristina. And we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everyone.